What's doing, everyone? Today we are doing the N80. We're going to be doing the exhaust. We're going to go turbo back. We've got a high flow DPF and we're going to do some dyno afterwards to see the difference. All right, this is my accomplice today. This is Josh. He's pumped. He loves DPF removals. So much. We're running one cordless, well, we're running one mic still. My mic's cables are on order. So Josh gets to be micless, but he gets to be working. We are doing a, hold up a second, let's go back, let's come back. Have we seen the floors? Don't pay attention to Jarvis's floor. He's standing around just throwing dirt on the ground. Disgusting! But everywhere else, all new, fresh, painted, ready to go. New start, new year. We have a Manta exhaust. We will be stocking these exhaust systems. I have gone for a resonator to try and take out some of the noise without being too quiet, but I don't want to be too loud. And I'll go and find our high flow DPF. Here he is, Joshy's got him. So we've got a high flow DPF ready to go in. So we can run all the sensors in there still, keep it all factory style, but we're going to wind her up and see what we can do. Excited. Let's get stuck in. What are you breaking, Josh?
Trying to get this stupid clip off the air filter box.
So first part we're doing is removing airbox.
Remove an airbox.
And we'll move intake piping and bits and pieces so we can get down to that big log of a thing down there.
Just get everything out of the way to make your life easier.
And then once we get all that out, we'll come back and we'll show you what we're going to get out. Alright, so we've got the airbox out, intake pipe off. You can see a bit of a better angle of how big this DPF is here now. And all the sensors, so we're going to start ripping sensors and hoses and whatnot out of the way. And Josh is loving life.
So much. Nah, it's not too bad.
So for those that don't know what DPF does and where it is and how it works, basically it breaks down all the bad chemicals and tries to reduce them coming out the back. But then that, which is here, but then that gets clogged up over time. So Toyota have put in a 5th injector and that gets sprayed in and injected in when it's doing a DPF burn, and that then creates more heat to burn off the crap that it catches. All right, so we're just underneath here now. We're doing bottom flange, and so we should be able to get the DPF out of the top. But factory exhaust comes through to a big muffler and comes out the back. So we'll delete all that out. We'll have a little resonator, try and get a bit of a note out of it, and see how she goes. Oh, we're ripping in, Josh. We're taking that out.
It's all apart. Not needed. Not wanted.
It is high flow there. Look, high flow and then no flow.
Rubbish. We'll leave that bit there until we get the DPF out, and then come back and change that bit.
Sounds like a plan. But we can see the old DPF up there. We'll squeeze him out. What are you doing?
Just setting it afire.
So the O2 sensors are stuck in there. So put a bit of heat and we'll hopefully should get it off.
It helps if you get the right size.
Oh, the old wrong size spanner. Oh, man muscles, got it. And a bit of heat.
Winner. A lot of heat.
Why aren't you using your hands, Josh?
Because it's red hot and I've already melted my fingerprints twice. So we'll just keep flicking it with the spanner until it falls out. slack each time. Go over there somewhere. No, that one's gone. Find it later. So now we just got to be hopeful.
So we're back up on top, and should, in theory, just under this flange here and make that big ass log come out that little hole.
Fun part. Back there. Really tight. Oh, that's had some heat in it.
Or just lack of man muscles.
There we go. Probably a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
Oh! Oh, too soon.
Too soon. Reckon if we drop that steering shaft out of the way, we'll have enough space. We'll make life that little bit easier. We'll get a marker and mark it.
One pair of pants later.
Oh!
Oh, we might
Oh!
be onto something.
We're on it!
Nah.
What's that, Josh?
DPF. Rubbish.
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 So we compare old DPF to new DPF, and big difference. Sick. All right, so we've got them out. We need to get all these sensors out to replace and go back into the new DPF. So what we do is we just get our trusty butane torch and we heat up where they go in, just to get a bit of expansion to get those threads out without rounding any nuts. So now that I've loosened them up for him, he should be able to... Oh! Such a good guy.
Top low.
Is that hot, mate?
It is a
Oh.
tad warm. And then I've just realised the one that's stuck we're going to have to get out too.
Yeah, bro. So we're just taking the sensors out and pressure tubes out and just literally fit them in the same locations on the new one. And then when we go back in the car, is it still a bit warm with your glove on?
Still hot.
Once they're back in the car, we can plug them back in and everything will be there functioning as normal. Alright, so the new high flow DPF is going back in. We've already sort of done up all the sensors roughly where they need to be, so we don't have to try and worry about it once it's in. That went in a little bit easy.
So much easier.
So this mounts up to the factory flange on the back of the turbo, and we'll use a factory V-band clamp. Josh is going to need a third hand.
Yeah.
But you can see our fully sick big turbo bro for all the boosts, and I'll probably have to help Josh with a third hand.
A few moments later.
So all the factory brackets mount to hold this in place at the back and obviously at the front. The extra little cool thing is just in here we have a spare bung, so we can run a external EGT gauge, which may be a thing in the future we might look at doing, run a pod style gauge on the A-pillar, and it makes life a little bit easier. Alright, so DPF's in, sensors are in, O2 sensors back in down the bottom, brackets are on, so Josh is now just going to throw all this other stuff back into place, hopefully have no spare bolts left, And
maybe one or two.
One or two.
One or two.
And we'll get stuck in underneath. What are you doing?
Oh, freaking dying, mate.
So what are you doing? You doing some brakes? Bendix upgrade?
Bendix upgrade, yep.
Shout out to Bendix. Maybe my car needs a Bendix upgrade.
Yeah, maybe. Can I be Esky?
Yeah, you can have an Esky.
Yeah,
Bendix, we want some Bendix stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and an Esky.
An Esky. Alright, so we've got all this back together. Well, Josh has got all this back together. We had a couple of spare bolts from heat shields and brackets and things. So all we're going to do now is throw that thing back in there somewhere. And the top section's done. And we'll get underneath and we'll throw the rest of the exhaust on. And then we'll get it on the dyno.
Then it's lunchtime.
Then it's lunchtime!
Lunchtime!
Get in my belly!
So you're lubing up.
Lubing up.
And we're moving out the factory exhaust. Got some mag glare coming in. Must be those sick painted floors. So we'll undo these couple of mounts, get this exhaust out, and we'll swap out for the new one. Alright, so Josh has beat me to it. He's already loaded up the new pipe. 3-inch with res, thanks to Manta. So we'll bolt this system up and see how she goes. So that's that back section all fitted up, all the factory mounts. We've just got the intermediate pipe to come in here, which will come up to the high flow DPF there, and we should be able to start her up and see how she sounds. Josh has got his pipe.
Last piece of the puzzle.
And we're pretty much done. We're just going to bolt up the flanges, locate the top one on the DPF up there, and we'll bring her down, start her up. We'll have to put this in my pile of exhausts which are out there. You might say we've done a few, but yeah, we'll get it started up. Alright, so we've got the moment of truth. We're going to start it up. You have to ignore this cable. I do have wireless ones coming again. The moment of truth, we're going to start her up, see what she sounds like, and hopefully it doesn't sound too bad, but we'll see how she goes. Holy crap, what are you doing?
Oh, I know how much effort you put in over the Christmas trying to paint floors. I thought I'd try and look after you.
It still looks like there's something going wrong there though.
I don't know what that is.
Would that be brake fluid dripping on the ground?
Yeah. That was there when I drove in.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Oh, that was there when I drove in.
That was even famous car leaking while I'm trying to last year.
Alright, so Josh, just jump in him. He's broken it. He broke it. What have you done to it?
Took that top off.
You broke my car.
Yeah, ripped it.
Oh, Josh. So Josh got to give it a bit of a pump because the 5th injector would have created a bit of an airlock. So you can give that a bit of a pump.
That should fix our issue.
Bluetooth. Oi, there we go. All right, so that's idling. That's all right. That's all right. Ooh. I'll unplug my mic so we can hear it from the phone. I like it. I like it. It's pretty good. Ask the expert king.
Sounds like a diesel.
Sounds like a diesel. All right, we'll get it up on the dyno and see what we can do. So we've mounted the Jarvis is hiding.
Hi, diddly ho!
So we've run the car up on the dyno here. As you can see, still running the 33s. Still got everything else is all standard. So we're still running standard intake, just running the 3-inch turbo back with the high flow DPF. So we'll run that up. We'll see where we're going to go with it. Probably end up around the same sort of boost. We'll just have to make some adjustments for the DPF side of things. But other than that, we'll run it up and see how she goes. All right, so I've done a couple of runs and I'll load the video up there so you can see it anyway. But we've pretty much just all I did was took a little bit of fuel out up top, just at the very top. It was getting a bit too rich, a bit too hot, so we backed it out a little bit. We've kept boost the same. I'll flick this camera around a second so you can see it. But we're pretty happy with the results, considering I haven't touched any boost yet from what I had previously with the DPF, well, standard DPF in. So let's have a look. So as you can see, we've picked up, 12 kilowatts and another 30 newton meters of torque. Power is pretty much all the way through the range, but as I said here, we took a little bit of fuel out just to keep it all safe there, but boost levels are bang on all the way, same all the way through. And yeah, she's making some good power. With still more in it. All right, so I'll just flick the dyno screen over here to torque so you can see what torque it's making as well. So I'll flick this camera around and we'll have a look. Yeah, so as I said, as you can see, it's picked up torque all the way through the range there. As just that last little bit, I backed it off a little bit just to make it safe. But really, we're going to be up in that far up in the rev range, in fourth gear under full load. So yeah, we've got the nice mid-range torque, got nice mid-range power, and we've still got plenty more to go on this thing.
3 days later.
All right, so I've had a few questions about the Hilux, fuel consumption, speedo, how does it work, how is it happening? So I thought I'd just do a quick little story. So I'll flick the camera around, I'll show you my dash. We've just driven from the sunny coast down to the Gold Coast. I've had radar crews on the whole way, doing the speed limit the whole way. The speedo is out by 3 kilometers, 3 to 4 kilometers. So if I'm sitting in a 100 zone, I set my cruise to 97, and obviously 107 for 110. Went through lots of traffic, we had rain, we've got road works, so 80, 100, 110, all those different speeds. Just let it sit on radar the whole way, and I'll flick the camera now and you'll see where we're at. So, or just flick to 7.7 sitting here idling, but the whole way down it was sitting on 7.6, and we've done like 130 kilometers of mixed sort of driving. I know a lot of you are saying, oh, that speed doesn't, that doesn't work correctly. So that's why I've set the new timer for how far we've filled up from. When I've emptied this tank out, I will do an actual literage consumption versus the kilometers, and I'll take out the, obviously the difference of 3 Ks out of that as well. The big thing that works for this, is people don't understand, is I've done an auto tune. So I've tuned the auto to change gears at different times, not downshift so hard so quickly, and go into lockup converter earlier. So when you're driving around town, I can be in lockup converter at 60 Ks an hour. So my my RPM is 1100 RPM at 60, cruising around, and it's not doing anything. It's using minimal fuel. I can get down to like 6 liters or something like that, doing around town driving. All right, so we just pulled back up at home. We've done 317.7 kilometers, and back now to 8 liters per 100 on the dash. I will do a calculation once it's run out, but I'll show you the dash now where we're at with 317 Ks. We had a little bit more rain, a little bit more traffic on the way back, but still pretty good for 8 liters per 100 on the highway. So stuck around there. So yeah, we've got still between three quarters and half a tank, and we've done 317 Ks. Like I said, that was pretty much mainly all highway. We drove around Gold Coast for a fair little bit, and then we've just driven back into Caloundra. So yeah, I'll monitor it, and when I've run out of this tank, I'll fill it back up, and I'll do a literage comparison so we can see what we've actually done, and that'll give you an actual representation of what's done. But as I said, 155 kilowatts and 500 and something newton meters of torque, but it can still cruise on the highway and sit around that 7.5, 8 litres per 100. It's pretty good to me. All right, so we've just done a tank of fuel. I've just filled up. I've just driven back to work, so we probably add, I don't know, 200 or 300 meters to the total on here. I'll take 200 or 300 meters off. Just filled up around the corner and drove back to work so I can be out of the way and have a talk on the camera without holding the Bowsers. So I'll flick the screen around and you'll see what kilometers we've done. This is on one tank. It's been a mixed use. It's been highway, Gold Coast and back, Brisbane and back twice. Local boat ramp with my boat, and obviously to and from work. I'm about 5K from work, so stop, starting and that sort of stuff. So lots of traffic, highway, local, a bit of everything. So I'll flick it around now and have a look. So what we got here is we've got 805.7 and an average of that 9.1 litres per 100. And then on my receipt here, we also got some donuts as well, so ignore the donuts. We've got 73.54 litres and $1.74 a litre. But we can run a calculator, zoom back in on that one, run a calculator, and I'll load that up on the screen now. But you'll see that the fuel consumption is pretty good. So you have it. So that's this a calculator I found on Google. I put in obviously fuel we've used versus the kilometers I've done, and it comes in at 9.1.3 litres, so obviously not far off on the old usage there. So take that as you will, I guess. But filling up to the brim, like to the brim full, driving, and then same thing on the way back, and driving not like I normally would, probably a little bit softer, I guess, if anything, but still towed the boat, still went on the highway, still dropped the kids off at things, still driving to and from work, sitting here idling now, talking to you on the camera. Jarvis is looking at me like a madman. Look at him. Look at this guy. Look at him. Idly ho over there. So yeah, so we're pretty good, like 9 litres per 100, making 155 kilowatts, 550 newton meters of torque, plus 30s and exhaust. You don't have to drive like a madman. You don't have to go through heaps of fuel. You know, obviously if you drive like an idiot, you're going to use your fuel bad. But I've got power there when I need it, and when I don't need it, I can just cruise and get, you know, an average of 9 litres per 100. I can't complain with that. So any more information you want, give us a yell, 1-800-776-243. If you want to come have a drive of the car, come around. I don't care. The car's here if I'm here. Let's go for a spin. I can use you for some feedback and see what you think. You know where we are. Hit us up on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and leave a comment below what you think we should do next. Cheers, guys.
It's Thursday in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.